This page is the front cover of 64 magazine, volume 16. Banjo-Kazooie is taking center stage with the tagline, "Move over Mario, the bear and the bird got you beat." It's boasting a free N64 tips book and reviews of every new Nintendo 64 game in this issue. Featured games include Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, Mortal Kombat 4, Quest 64, and Weetrix. There's a promise of over 30 pages of reviews, claiming it's the only N64 magazine worth buying. This page is an advert for the N64 Jolt Pack, a rumble pack and memory card combo for the N64, for £14.99. It boasts a flashing light feature and compatibility with all rumble pack games. They're also pushing subscriptions to 64 magazine, offering 12 issues, a solutions book, and a free game for £70, which they say is a saving of £37. The advert features images of N64 games like Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, and Mario Kart 64, and they're also giving away books on GoldenEye, Lilac Wars and Super Mario 64 with the subscription. It's all very enticing, especially with a James Bond lookalike pushing the magazine. The next page is the contents page for volume 16 of 64 magazine. Banjo-Kazooie is the cover star, and it's being hyped as superb, featured on page 26. In the review section, IS98 on page 38 is praised as the best footy game ever. Mortal Kombat 4 on page 42 is mentioned as another beat-em-up. Weetrix is reviewed on page 46, described as addictive. Quest 64 on page 54, however, is marked as disappointing, despite being the N64's first RPG. GT64 on page 58 is another racing game that they wish they hadn't bothered with, while All-Star Baseball 99 on page 62 is said to be unbelievable. Puzzle Dharma on page 64 is a manic Japanese puzzler. Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside on page 66 is a UK update to Nintendo's basketball game, G-Mevilgru. The regular section includes 64 Showcase on page 06 with news and release dates, When I'm 64, the Letters page, on page 12, Subscriptions on page 90, and Nindex on page 92, which is an index of game reviews. Next issue is on page 98. 64 site includes Perfect Dark on page 14, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil on page 16, Penny Racers on page 18, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron on page 20, SCARS on page 18, and Harrier 2000 on page 19. Game Busters section has Cheat Central on page 68, Score Zone on page 72, and Quake Solutions on page 76. The 64 Showcase heralds a promising time for N64 gamers. Early impressions are positive, with Banjo-Kazooie exceeding expectations and Mortal Kombat 4 proving the console's fighting game capabilities. Is 98 and All-Star Baseball 99 also impress? Anticipation is high for upcoming titles like F-Zero X, Turok 2, and Zelda 64, suggesting developers are harnessing the N64's power. A preview of Rare's Jet Force Gemini, Cool Your Jets, details the game's plot, featuring heroes Juno, Vela, and Lupus battling the evil Mizar. Gameplay involves switching between characters with unique abilities, tackling puzzles, and utilizing destructive weapons, including a cooperative mode. The This Is Us Right section introduces the magazine's contributors, discussing their favorite games like Banjo-Kazooie, and offering humorous anecdotes about their experiences. This N64 News Roundup covers several upcoming and current games. Mother 3, now on cartridge for the 64DD, increases the chance of a Western release. Tanks a Million, a tank combat game set in a post-apocalyptic world ruled by women, shows promise. Cruisin' for a Bruisin', Cruisin' World, is slated for release this month, potentially overshadowed by the highly anticipated Banjo-Kazooie. Ogre Battle 3, a strategy RPG, hasn't been picked up by a Western publisher yet, which is unfortunate. The Gizmos and Gadgets section reviews the ASC 2-wheel, 64 steering wheel controller, finding it suitable for racing games like Mario Kart. The 64 charts reveal World Cup 98 still reigns, with Forsaken and GoldenEye maintaining their positions. Budget titles ISS 64 and Weetrix perform well, while Konami's Mystical Ninja attracts adventure fans. Banjo-Kazooie is expected to dominate the charts soon. This page showcases an advert for 64 Solutions magazine issue number 5. It's really pushing itself as the go-to guide for N64 tips, boasting N64 tips and nothing else, and calling itself the ultimate tips magazine. Looks like it's got 132 pages, crammed with gaming goodness. The cover features Yoshi's story, and inside they're promising solutions for that, mystical ninja starring Goemon cracking game that, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, WCW vs NWO, and Quake. Plus, they are banging on about a complete as of N64 cheats and tips. There's also an order form if you wanted to grab a copy, priced at £3.95. Dopene. Below the advert is a massive list of upcoming N64 games, both for us here in the UK and over in the US, with release dates. Blimey, it's a proper deluge of titles. Looking through it, you've got everything from 1080 snowboarding and Banjo-Kazooie, right through to Zelda 64, which was always eagerly anticipated. It's a snapshot of what was hitting the shelves back then, a real treasure trove for N64 fans keeping track of what was coming out. The magazine's letters page features reader complaints and inquiries. The star letter criticizes the magazine's price, prompting an editor's humorous response. Other letters cover topics like Nintendo's kiddie game policy, console wars, and a claim that the GoldenEye film copied the N64 game. Readers also discuss swearing in the magazine, subscription games, and dream game lists. Additional topics include questions about blood in games, 1080 snowboarding shortcuts, and positive/negative reviews of the magazine. Ask Andy answers questions about SCART leads for the N64 and 1080 snowboarding screenshots. This page in 64 site is having a gander at Perfect Dark. Looks like Rare are really pushing the boat out on this one. They're calling it sheer perfection and reckon it's going to be even better than GoldenEye, which is a bold claim indeed. The release date is slated for 1999, so we've still got a bit of a wait. Apparently, the team behind GoldenEye are also creating Perfect Dark, using an improved 3D engine for faster and smoother gameplay with special effects. They've even got more futuristic weapons, like heat seekers, a bit like Judge Dredd apparently. The levels are meant to be more complex than GoldenEye, with better lighting and shiny surfaces. The enemies are smarter too, and there will be deathmatch mode as well, which is always a good thing. The screenshots show some interesting bits, like a hoverbike for Joanna to get around in a hurry, and even a scene where she's got to push an alien on a trolley to safety, while security guards try to stop her with lethal force. Sounds a bit bonkers, doesn't it? Joanna Dark is the main character, a top-secret agent in 2023 ad, uncovering a conspiracy by the Datadyne Corporation who are retrieving a crashed alien spacecraft. They're saying it's a bit X-Files-ish, which sounds right up my street. They're keeping tight-lipped about Area 51 level security, and saying more will be revealed nearer the time. Classic Rare teasing us. This 64 site preview highlights 2 November releases. First, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil from Acclaim, promising improved visuals and weapons. The game features detailed enemies, global environments, and a crashed alien spacecraft. A playable preview is expected next month. Second, Top Gear Overdrive from Kemco, and the games is described as a semi-realistic rally game in the style of San Francisco Rush, different from previous installments. It includes power-ups, nitrous boosts, and features 7 tracks, multiple cars, including a VW Beetle and Dodge Viper, and 4-player mode. Cars have glossy reflections. 64 site previews, 3 upcoming N64 titles. First, Penny Racers from THQ, arriving in winter '98, is based on the Koro Q toy cars. Players can customize their cars, design tracks, steal parts, and trade with friends using the controller pack, offering a Mario Kart-like experience with a greater emphasis on car customization and 4-player fun. Next is Harrier 2000 from Video System, a flight sim due in '99, featuring Harrier jump jets. Players will engage in combat missions against a terrorist group, utilizing a variety of weapons. The game promises strategic gameplay with pilot wings-like depth and impressive visuals. Finally, SCARS, Supercomputer Animal Racing Simulation, from Ubisoft, releasing in November, features futuristic cars designed by supercomputers based on animals. The game boasts twisted tracks, weapons, and impressive graphics, though it's limited to 2-player head-to-head on the N64. This page is a feature article in 64 magazine, taking a look at the upcoming Star Wars Rogue Squadron game on the N64. It's a behind-the-scenes preview, with quotes from Mark Hy Hutchinson, the project leader. They talk about how Rogue Squadron is much more advanced than Shadows of the Empire, especially graphically, aiming for a smoother frame rate and more detailed landscapes. The game is focusing on spacecraft combat, with players taking on the role of Luke Skywalker, piloting swings and U-wings on missions across various planets, from Tatooine to never-before-seen worlds like Kessel. The screenshots show off some of the in-game action with X-Wings and U-Wings flying through canyons and desert landscapes. They are really pushing the boat out with graphical features like real-time lighting and shadows, as well as interactive music and surround sound for a proper immersive experience. There's mention of possible secret vehicles to discover too, which is always a nice touch. This page carries on with the Rogue Squadron feature, where they are setting it apart from PC flight sims like X-Wing vs TIE Fighter, calling it a mission-based arcade experience. They boast about complete freedom of movement in levels bigger than those in Shadows of the Empire. Wingman interaction is still being decided. The team is about 28 people, working since 1997, aiming for a Christmas 1998 release. Ship accuracy is paramount, using movie models, with 5 main player ships and a host of enemies. Factor 5 is handling programming, art, and music, while LucasArts focuses on design, levels, and testing. There is a gameography box highlighting past games, including Rogue Squadron and Shadows on 64, alongside classics from Indiana Jones to Monkey Island 2. They also mention new Star Wars Episode 1 games to be revealed at E3, 1999. Mark Hy Hutchinson, the project lead, is interviewed, and his picture is included. Gameplay, a self-proclaimed biggest UK mail-order game supplier, is heavily advertising its N64 offerings. They boast about low prices, extensive selection, and quality service, including official UK products and fast delivery. Their ad features a range of accessories, like official Nintendo joypads, a Top Gear steering wheel, and even a Virtual Boy. They're selling the N64 console itself for £90.99, with numerous bundles featuring popular titles like Mario Kart 64 and GoldenEye. The ad also lists a wide variety of N64 games and teases upcoming releases like Legend of Zelda 64. Gameplay offers a guarantee on the N64 and promises to replace faulty consoles at your doorstep. They also offer second-hand games, flexible payment terms, and a physical superstore in Leeds. This page is a review for Banjo-Kazooie, scoring a whopping 94% and a gold medal award from 64 magazine. It's hailed as brilliant, plain and simple. The Ninfo box at the top confirms it's for the N64, supporting 12 players, with cartridge format, Rumble Pack compatibility, and 128 meters memory. Published and developed by Rare, this 3D platformer was released on July 31st, priced at £49.99. The review text is enthusiastic, proclaiming, "Paddington, your history. Get the hell out of here, Yogi. There's a new bear in town." It mentions Japan's financial woes and jokes that even Mario has been made redundant by Banjo-Kazooie's arrival. It highlights Rare as the best N64 game developer. There are sections called Memory Options, stating it has 3 save slots, and controller pack support is N/A. Another section called $64,000 question lists positives like fabulous visuals, atmospheric sound, clever control system, intelligent camera, and plenty of secrets, ending with, "You're going to play it to death as soon as you buy it." The dueling banjo section describes the opening sequence, where Gruntilda kidnaps to Dorothy, setting up the game's story. Bare necessities, touches on the game's positive reception at E3 1997 and 1998. Screenshots showcase the characters Banjo, Kazooie, and the witch Gruntilda, along with gameplay environments like Treasure Trove Cove, emphasizing the game's scale and humor with speech bubbles included in some of them. This review of Banjo-Kazooie praises its refined mechanics and expansive world. It highlights a diverse range of abilities, comparing the game's sophistication to a Bentley vs. Mario 64's Fiesta. The game features a plot centered on rescuing Tooty, with Kazooie described as a Bree-gull. The reviewer emphasizes the importance of jigsaw puzzle pieces for accessing new, Disneyland-like worlds. The game's graphics are lauded, with the review suggesting it was seen as a visual rival to Mario. Throughout the review, screenshots showcase various locations, characters, and abilities, including collecting jigsaw pieces and crystal skulls. The review concludes by stating that after experiencing Banjo-Kazooie, returning to Mario feels like a step down in quality. This review comprehensively covers Mumbo's Mountain, the first world in Banjo-Kazooie. The guide begins with advice from Bottles, the Mole, and details essential moves like the Talon Trot and Beak Buster. It then breaks down the world into various sections, including defeating termites, reaching the Termite Mound summit to be transformed, and finding hidden honeycomb pieces. The review highlights areas for collecting notes, eggs, and battling enemies. It details encounters like the fight with Conga the gorilla and the use of oranges to progress. It also covers finding Jinjos for puzzle pieces, locating Mumbo's crystal skulls, and activating Gruntilda's switch. The guide points out important locations, such as the entrance teleporter, and emphasizes the level's comprehensive nature, covering collectibles, enemies, and puzzle pieces. The next page of this magazine features a review of Banjo-Kazooie. It kicks off by discussing Mumbo's Mountain, the initial world, noting it's a great microcosm of the whole game where you can hone your skills. It mentions the transformations provided by Mumbo the Witch Doctor, and the variety of gameplay elements, including swimming, platforming, puzzles, and enemies. The review highlights the different collectibles, like puzzle pieces, musical notes, eggs, and feathers, and mentions the Jinjos and Mumbo's crystal skulls. Moving on to World 2, Treasure Trove Cove is introduced, described as a scenic island requiring Factor 50 suntan lotion. Nipper the giant crab is mentioned as a tough boss in this world, and the review gives tips on defeating him. The review then expands on the game's overall stunning environments, claiming they are some of the best on the N64 and any machine at the time. It acknowledges the similarities to Super Mario 64 in early levels like Mumbo's Mountain, but praises Banjo-Kazooie's enhanced detail and more elaborate worlds like Clanker's Cavern and Freezy Peak, which are briefly described. Clanker's Cavern is depicted as a polluted cylinder of rusty metal and garbage, while Freezy Peak is plagued by evil snowmen. This Banjo-Kazooie review highlights the game's detailed level design, using Bubble Gloop Swamp and Mad Monster Mansion as examples. The music receives high praise for its dynamic changes within and between worlds, citing Treasure Trove Cove's lighthouse music as an example. Sound effects, particularly the characters' unique speech and background noise, also enhance the atmosphere. Gameplay is compared to Mario 64, but with better camera control, though underwater sections and areas with instant death pose challenges, Look and Tomb Raider camera modes are praised. The review then previews various levels, including the Hot Gobies Valley and the spooky Mad Monster Mansion. Freezy Peak is noted as a popular winter level. The page includes screenshots showcasing details like egg feeding, sledge races, and hidden collectibles, further illustrating the game's varied content. The Banjo-Kazooie review praises the game's challenging yet forgiving gameplay, specifically highlighting the Rusty Bucket Bay level. The humor, reminiscent of British carry-on comedies, is deemed funny. The review favorably compares Banjo-Kazooie to Mario 64, emphasizing its graphical enhancements and immersive world. The review then teases Click Clock Wood, with its seasonal changes and unique details. The review details the N64 controller layout and control scheme. Similar games like Super Mario 64 and Mystical Ninja starring Goemon are suggested. Ultimately, Banjo-Kazooie receives top scores across all categories, earning an overall score of 95%. The second opinion reinforces the high praise, commending Rare's quality and difficulty curve, declaring it a must-buy. The review concludes with an enthusiastic recommendation, calling it excellent, and urging readers to buy the game. This page reviews International Superstar Soccer 98, declaring it the best football game ever and a worthy sequel. They're raving about the World Cup license, which is a big deal, especially for the Japanese version, giving you all the World Cup thrills. The gameplay is apparently similar to the original but with improvements, more goal types, better player reactions, and more realistic ball physics. They mention free kicks are more precise now with height adjustments, and volleys are easier to pull off. The review talks about the World Cup tournament mode where you pick an international team and play through the qualifiers. They've had a bit of a moan about the time limit being a bit long for each match, suggesting 5-minute halves instead of 3. The screenshots show in-game action, highlighting things like corner kicks, goal celebrations, and free kicks. There's a box about memory options, mentioning you can save player edits, World Cup standings, and options with the controller pack. Finally, there's a section pondering if it's worth the money, listing better graphics, new animations and moves, the World Cup license, but points out it's all in Japanese if you import it. The game is developed and published by Konami, it's a football game, and was released in Japan in July, and is out now in the UK for £59.99. International Superstar Soccer 98 receives high praise. The review highlights the game's realistic fouls and potential for player injuries. Goal replays feature dramatic comet trails. Konami effectively captures the World Cup atmosphere, with impressive player reactions and animations. The referees are strict, and the game features dynamic player interactions. While height-adjustable free kicks require practice, the gameplay is considered near perfect. The review provides the N64 controller layout and suggests alternatives, but clearly favors ISS98. The game earns top marks across the board, achieving a 94% score. It's lauded as the best football game, with a sexy presentation. This page is a review of Mortal Kombat 4 for the N64, awarding it a solid 76%. It's described as a beat-em-up, and the first truly decent Mortal Kombat title on the N64. The review highlights the shift to 3D characters and arenas, noting its feature 3D rather than be in 3D, meaning gameplay is still largely 2D with 3D visuals. It mentions the outrageous violence and fatalities are taken a step further, with 15 characters, including hidden ones like Goro. The gameplay speed is praised as faster than a speeding comet, with responsive controls. Screenshots show in-game action and fatalities. There's a combat characters section detailing fighters like Fujin, Jarek, Jax, Johnny Cage, Kai, Liu Kang and Quan Chi, listing their weapons and background. Memory options are mentioned, stating no memory pack is needed, but a controller pack can store game progress and scores. A $64,000 question box summarizes the game as fast and furious beat-em-up action with gory moves, addictive gameplay, nice 3D graphics, but not really 3D gameplay. This Mortal Kombat 4 review for the Nintendo 64 highlights its character roster, each with unique weapons, and the crazy combat and foreign object fighting mechanics. The reviewer finds the game a decent step up for the series on the N64, with good speed and solid two-player gameplay. While the endings are criticized, the overall experience is deemed positive, particularly for Mortal Kombat fans. A second opinion emphasizes the game's fast-paced, fun nature, while acknowledging some early MK limitations. The game receives an 86% rating, with graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge each scoring 4 out of 5. The review concludes by recommending it to fans. This page is a review of Weetrix for the Nintendo 64, and it's quite complimentary. The reviewer reckons Weetrix deals with Archimedes' principle of water displacement, which sounds rather grand for a puzzle game. They seem quite taken with it, describing it as devilishly simple to learn but hard to master, and very addictive. The review highlights the bright graphics and impressive water effects, praising the gameplay as highly complex and addictive, though noting it's a trifle unforgiving. It mentions a practice mode with 16 lessons, 8 for single player and 8 for 2 players, which is a good way to get to grips with things. The self-help section details the first 8 lessons, starting with containing water and progressing through evaporating lakes, creating lakes, making rainbows, surviving bombs, floating a duck, filling holes, and finally, scoring 25,000 points. Each lesson has a screenshot illustrating the objective, like building walls to contain water or using bombs to clear holes. It seems like a solid tutorial to get players started with this rather unique puzzler. Overall, the review gives a strong impression that Weetrix is a worthwhile addition to the N64 library. This page carries on with the Weetrix review, and it really gets into the nitty-gritty of the gameplay. You're not just dropping blocks, you're managing water, bombs, and even ice. They talk about modes like Classic and Pro, and even a 2-player mode called Wextrix, which sounds like a right laugh with fireballs and special moves. They're clearly loving it, saying it's weird, wild, and incredibly addictive, and even that you definitely need to buy this. There's a second opinion as well, reiterating how good it is, comparing it to Tetris. High praise indeed. They've slapped an 86% overall on it. Alongside the Weetrix review, there's a plug for a Maximum Solutions Banjo-Kazooie strategy guide. Looks like it covers everything. Cheats, secret areas, all those jiggies, maps, walkthroughs, even posters, the works. It's £3.95, and out on the 30th of July if you're interested, with an order form here if you want to grab one. This page is a reader survey from 1998 for 64 magazine, giving readers a chance to win a Scheidner 33-inch telly worth over £1,200. It's asking for all the usual survey stuff, your name and address, marital status, that kind of thing, to enter the prize draw. Then it gets into your magazine habits, like where you buy it, if you've had trouble finding it in shops, and if you'd subscribe. It also wants to know about your gaming habits, how many Nintendo 64 games you buy, where you get them from, what consoles you own, and how much you'd pay for the magazine. There's a section on what kind of magazine content you prefer, and which other magazines you read. Tucked away at the bottom there's a little advert for Earthworm Jim 3D, letting us know it's coming soon for the N64, PlayStation and PC. And it looks like Department 1, who do mail order, are involved with the survey too. So yeah, it's all about getting reader feedback for the magazine really. This page is an advert for value packs of strategy guides, dead good value at £16.95 a set. You get 3 books in each, with over 200 pages each, covering tips and cheats. They're pushing 2 packs, one for PlayStation and one for Nintendo 64. The N64 pack is bragging about having the latest tips books, covering Tomb Raider 2, Final Fantasy V2. Bit cheeky that one, everyone knows that's a PlayStation game. GoldenEye, Mario 64, and a full as of cheats for both consoles. They're really going on about the savings, saying each book usually costs £9.95, so you're saving a packet buying the box set. There's an order form to fill out if you fancy getting your hands on them. Quest 64, a Nintendo 64 RPG, is reviewed with harsh criticism. The story involves apprentice spirit tamer Brian searching for his father and a magic book to save Seltland. The game features elemental magic combinations for combat, with earth, wind, fire and water elements. The graphics, while colorful, are described as simplistic and angular, with character designs reminiscent of manga. The reviewer notes the lack of promised playable characters. Despite being considered the first proper RPG on the N64, Quest 64 is deemed repetitive, with poor sound effects and a weak ending. The reviewer ultimately dismisses the game as a disappointment. Quest 64 receives a scathing review, with the combat system labeled a fighting farce, deemed simple and tedious, plagued by frequent, unwelcome monster encounters. The lack of a true death mechanic and a shallow story further contribute to the game's shortcomings. The reviewer criticizes the generic fantasy setting, simplistic puzzles, and reliance on combat grinding. The game is unfavorably compared to Final Fantasy and Zelda 64, highlighting its limited scope. The final rating is a low 56%, with low scores for gameplay and lasting challenge. The verdict: too simple for adults, too boring for kids. A major disappointment. A second opinion reinforces the negativity, calling the game boring and repetitive, advising players to avoid it. GT64 Championship Edition, a racing game from Ocean/Imagineer and developer Genki, received a mixed review. While the graphics were considered solid with enjoyable power slides, the game suffered from weak sound and a lack of exciting content. The game featured cool cars like the Toyota Supra and Nissan Skyline GTR, but questionable team names detracted from the experience. The review criticized the tracks, based on Japanese Grand Touring, as bland and uninspired, with racing resembling a Formula One procession. The game offered only 3 circuits, with short and long variations, plus a secret track. The reviewer found the tracks unmemorable and lacking excitement, a significant flaw in the game's overall appeal. The game required importing and cost £59.99. GT64 Championship Edition received a disappointing 64% score. The review criticizes the control scheme, noting unused buttons and gameplay mechanics. Graphics earned a decent score, but audio and gameplay lagged. The review suggests the game is boring and criticizes cornering issues, perfect AI races, and a severely reduced frame rate in 2-player mode. Advertised car damage was also absent. Roy Kimber offers a second opinion, highlighting animation issues. Alternatives like Top Gear Rally and Diddy Kong Racing were reviewed favorably. Screenshots showcase in-game action and available cars, including the Denso Supra GT and Raybrig NSX, and feature selectable teams with driver names. The next page features a review for All-Star Baseball 99 on the N64. It's being touted as the best baseball simulator you'll ever see, and they reckon it's got amazing attention to detail. They are impressed with the high-res graphics, which they call astounding, and the sheer amount of gaming options available. It seems you can really get into managing your team and controlling everything. The game allows for up to 4 players, and you can even create your own players. There's a section explaining some baseball terms for those not in the know, calling it terms of endearment, like batter's box, bunt, pitch, and foul ball, which is quite amusing. They've also got a bottom line box, showing the N64 controller layout. Alternatives mentioned are Major League Baseball and Mike Piazza's Strike Zone, both imported games. The review gives individual ratings using baseball glove icons in categories like graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge. Graphics gets full marks with 10 gloves. Audio and gameplay get 9 gloves each, and lasting challenge gets 8 gloves. Overall, it scores a very impressive 89%, and they call it an essential purchase for any baseball fan and one of the best sporting sims ever. honest. There's also a second opinion box, which also praises the graphics and says it overcomes the tedious nature of real baseball. Puzzle Dharma for the N64 is an arcade puzzler with gameplay akin to Puyo Puyo Sun, offering 3 games in one. The primary mode is a Puyo Puyo clone, with unique elements like frozen blobs, happy balls, mean balls, and Pac-Man balls. A second mode, Get Blobby With It, presents rising blobs, while Bowling Blobs provides a 4-player bowling experience. The game features 12 characters, each with distinct animations. The review humorously describes some characters. Puzzle Dharma receives positive ratings across graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge, resulting in an 80% score. It's described as a mad Japanese puzzle game. That's fun. Recommended alternatives include Puyo Puyo Sun 64 and Buster Move 2. This page reviews Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside on the N64, and it reckons if you're a basketball fan, it's an essential purchase. They humorously mention the game could be called Cobesta. It highlights the clever passing system, with professional players who mostly pass around. The game is described as fast-paced, due to the small court size and the pituitary-fueled action. The PAL conversion is a bit of a letdown, as it's noticeably slower than the NTSC version. Controls use a simple N64 layout, with buttons for gear change, dribbling protection, shooting, passing and turbo. Alternatives mentioned are NBA Hangtime and NBA Pro 98, both around the £60 mark back then. Ratings are strong across the board for graphics, audio, gameplay and lasting challenge, all getting top marks, leading to an overall score of 85%. There's a bit about camera angles, highlighting some humorous names like Rosie, Seat 666 Cam, Michael Myers Cam, Seagull Cam, and Box Brownie Cam, each offering a different viewpoint. Loz Cooper's second opinion box praises the smooth passing and presentation, also giving it top marks. Ninfobox details the publisher as Nintendo, developer as Left Field Productions, basketball game type, and it's out now at £49.99. Memory options are limited saves and controller pack support for team and season data. PAL performance notes, it's slower than the NTSC version. The Soundbite calls it a well-presented and fun game. This page is all about cheats this month, kicking off with Forsaken for the N64. They're calling it a multiplayer game that rivals GoldenEye. Strong praise indeed. Forsaken's got a stack of cheat codes listed here, from level select and unlimited nitro, to some visual tweaks like psychedelic and wireframe modes, plus a gore mode. Apparently there are secret characters too, 8 in total. You need to find and dispatch them in the game to unlock them. There's a section for PlayStation cheats as well, but we're not bothered with that. Then there's the N64 Paracheats section, advertising a cheat line you can ring. They've listed game categories like racing, platform/sports, shoot-em-ups, and beat-em-ups with a few game examples for each. Diddy Kong Racing, Mario 64, GoldenEye and Mortal Kombat are name-dropped. Moving on, there are cheats for San Francisco Rush to access a secret track, with a couple of circuit codes provided. For Weetrix, there's a cheat to get alternate floors by completing the single-player practice rounds and toggling the floor option. Quake 64 gets a mention for a no-clipping mode, activated by entering no-clip as a password, letting you walk through walls and such. Finally, there's a bit on Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. It's an American baseball game, so probably not massive over here, but they've included cheats for bonus teams, fireworks, and controlling the title screen baseball. This page is diving straight into the cheat codes, kicking off with Mortal Kombat 4. There's a list of combat codes for the versus screen, with button combinations for things like unlimited run, weapon combat, noob saibot, and big head mode, even silent combat. Next up is All-Star Baseball 99, with codes for 2D players, big head mode, and Alien Stadium. Then there's Mike Piazza's Strike Zone, another baseball game, with a whole heap of cheat codes listed for things like bonus stadium, always hit home runs, crazy ball, psychedelic bats, and low gravity. Looks like they've gone a bit bonkers with this one. Buster Move 2 gets a mention for extra levels and hidden characters in puzzle mode, with button input codes to access them. Then there's a bit of advertising for Madeira games, calling themselves N64, PlayStation, and Saturn specialists. They're selling us N64 consoles and games, N64 video CD players, and Universal PlayStation and Saturn mods. They've got screenshots from WWF Warzone, Mission Impossible, Banjo-Kazooie, Turok 2 and Forsaken to tempt you. Looks like a proper import shop. The Score Zone is a leaderboards hub for N64 gamers to showcase their skills and compete for bragging rights. The site features scores and times for numerous popular titles, including Diddy Kong Racing, various tracks, Chameleon Twist, Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64, All Tracks, Nagano Winter Olympics, Snowboard Kids, Yoshi's Story, Wave Race 64, Top Gear Rally, Shadows of the Empire, Quake 64, Mischief Makers, Extreme G, Turok, and Mario 64. A competition called The Ultimate Player is underway, with a Trident pad and memory card as prizes. To enter, players must submit verified top scores, demonstrated via photo or video, to earn their place on the leaderboards. Excitement Direct, a Nintendo retailer, is advertising a range of products. They offer fast, free UK delivery, and a competition to win a Game Boy Pocket camera and printer. Accessories include plush toys, with a Luigi freebie, Game Boy Pocket cameras and printers, and a Wii Swap trade-in program for used games. Steering wheels, such as the Top Drive and Ultra Racer, are also available. The store stocks a wide selection of Game Boy games and bundles, including Tetris and Super Mario Land double packs. New and used N64 games like GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64 are on offer, along with various controllers, including official Nintendo 64 controllers, and third-party options like Shark Pads and Super Pads. Rumble packs and N64 miscellaneous items, cleaning kits, guides and more, complete the offerings. Extended warranties are available. This page is a complete walkthrough for level 15, the Tomb of Terror in Quake on the Nintendo 64. It's part of a bigger map solution for the game, and they even give you the level password, 5 Junior 4, YLNZXGBRDQ 57. There's a map of the level showing the layout, secret areas, and locations of items like red armor, silver key, and switches. The walkthrough itself is split into sections guiding you step by step through the level, telling you what to do, like run down the right-hand side of the stairs, or blast the zombies hiding around the corners. They also detail how to find Secret 1 and Secret 2, with hints on where they are located and what to do. There's an icon key explaining what all the little symbols on the map mean, covering weapons and ammo like nail guns and grenade launchers, map features like lifts and switches, keys like gold and silver keys, and power-ups like the quad damage rune. It's a pretty comprehensive guide to get you through this level if you're stuck. This walkthrough covers Quake 64's level 16, Satan's Dark Delight. The password CR1DZCMJJ9QLyle3 allows direct access. The guide details the level's layout, combat tips, like eliminating initial ogres with the nail gun, underwater navigation and switch activation. Several secrets are revealed. Secret 1 involves a yellow switch for health and ammo. Secret 2 grants nails, cells, armor, and quad damage. Secret 3 requires shooting colored lights for a pentagram of protection, while Secret 4 uses a red light to access another pentagram. Lastly, there's a secret level, accessed via a ledge and portal. Falling into water leads to a portal back to the start. This page is a walkthrough for Quake 64, specifically level 17, Chambers of Torment. It helpfully provides a password to jump straight to this level, 49, RXN, PDDM1, PH9, MXM. The guide gives a step-by-step route through the level, detailing encounters with Death Knights, ogres, and scrags, along with instructions on collecting keys and navigating the map. There's also details on 2 secrets within the level. Secret 1 involves switches and reveals health and yellow armor, and Secret 2, accessed after dealing with Death Knights and using a lift, leads to rockets and extra health. A level map is included for visual aid, marked with points of interest and enemy placements, along with in-game screenshots to illustrate the action. This walkthrough continues directly from the previous page, which covered level 16. This page is the playing guide for Quake 64, moving on to level 18, the Haunted Halls. They've thoughtfully included the password to jump straight to this level. It's 05s, 4 grams 4, C293W310TT if you're interested. The guide gives you a step-by-step walkthrough of the level, starting with using your rocket launcher on an ogre, then onto zombies and fiends. All the usual suspects, really. It guides you through using lifts, crossing bridges, dealing with ogres and Death Knights, and navigating lava pools. There are instructions for finding 4 secrets in this level. Secret 1 involves shooting a vent and crossing a bridge for a quad damage rune. Secret 2 is about dropping down by a lift to get a mega health. Secret 3 requires shooting a switch on the ceiling for mega health. yellow armor, and another quad damage. Finally, Secret 4 is all about shooting an ogre in a cage to open a secret door leading to nails and protection. There's also a level map to help you visualize the layout and in-game screenshots showing key moments and secret areas. It's a comprehensive guide to get you through this level unscathed. This page continues the Quake 64 playing guide, now tackling level 19, the Tower of Despair. They've given us the password for this level too, should anyone fancy skipping straight there. It's 41R96PFGWWGBQ 5BCH. The walkthrough starts you off by dropping into the level and immediately collecting items. It guides you through blasting knights, navigating winding passages, and dealing with ogres. There's a bit where you grab a super nail gun and take out a shambler before using a lift to reach power-ups on ledges. The guide also covers finding 4 secrets in this level. Secret 1 involves shooting a glass window and activating a switch for cages, with items like a double-barreled shotgun. Secret 2 has you shooting a wall in a corridor to find shells and a ring of shadows. Secret 3 is about climbing ledges and dropping onto a cage to get a mega health power-up. Finally, Secret 4 is triggered by activating a dagger switch and shooting a wall, leading to health power-ups and some gruesome ogres. As before, there's a map of the level layout and some in-game screenshots to illustrate key points and secret locations. Looks like another challenging level guide to get through. This page is another walkthrough for Quake 64, this time it's level 20, the Elder God Shrine, and they've thoughtfully included the level password as well. The guide kicks off by recommending the nail gun to deal with fiends straight away, before grabbing nails and a mega health. You're then into blasting knights, navigating through tight corridors, and facing ogres who are throwing grenades. The guide mentions handling scrags and collecting power-ups before diving into some water. You'll need the grenade launcher for later on, as you'll be tackling zombies and more fiends, eventually leading to a teleporter. It sounds like you'll be hunting for silver and gold keys, and dealing with even more knights throughout the level. Ekak. There's info on 4 secrets in this level too. Secret 1 is accessed via a lift and a ledge, and gets you some health power-ups. Secret 2 is behind a gold door, where activating a switch lowers the floor to reveal goodies like armor, nails, shells, a double-barreled shotgun, and the always welcome quad damage. For the secret level, you need to find a portal on the wall within the 3rd secret area. Stepping through this warps you to a monstrous secret level apparently. Secret 3 involves using lifts to reach a secret area, with health crates, nails, rockets, and red armor. As with the previous level, there's a map provided to help navigate and screenshots to illustrate key points and secret locations within the level. This page is an advert for Department 1, a games shop. Looks like they buy, sell, and exchange games. They're pushing Nintendo 64 gear, boasting about being the most dynamic mail-order company in Europe, and promising to beat any advertised price. They've got UK Nintendo 64 consoles for £89.99 and are shouting about Biofreaks games, £7.99 each. Reckon you should call now. There's also Zelda 64 highlighted as coming soon. They've got a list of games they think you should have, and a load of titles for sale, both new and second-hand, across N64, Dreamcast and Game Boy, with prices alongside. Seems like a proper old-school games shop, offering guarantees and refunds, and they take cards and checks. They're based in London, got phone and fax numbers, and even an email address. Mortal Kombat 4, WWF Warzone, Olympic Ice Hockey, 98 and 1080 snowboarding screenshots are dotted about, along with Banjo and Kazooie, and Holy Magic Century, which was known as Quest 64 over here. There's also a section on Dreamcast and Game Boy stuff, with prices for consoles and games. They're pushing instant exchange deals and talking about getting new games the next day. Reckon you'd be mad not to take advantage. The next page is pushing subscriptions to 64 magazine, offering a mega deal where you can grab a subscription and choose one of 4 cracking Nintendo 64 games: Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, or Mario Kart 64, plus one of 3 strategy guides for Super Mario 64, Lilac Wars or GoldenEye, all for £70. They're banging on about saving up to £37 on the deal. They're also doing standard subscriptions for 6 or 12 issues, with different prices for the UK, Europe and the rest of the world. On the side, they've got a section for ordering back issues. Looks like a fair few are sold out already, right up to issue 15. There's order forms to fill out for both subscriptions and back issues, with payment details needed. Typical magazine subscription page really. The magazine's review section, the 64 Nindex, offers a comprehensive guide to Nintendo 64 games. Notable scores include Diddy Kong Racing, 86%, praised for its visuals and multiplayer, and Duke Nukem 64, 84%, a successful port. Buster Move 2 earned a stellar 91% for its addictive gameplay, while 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, Biofreaks, Blastcore, Extreme G, FIFA, Road to World Cup, 98, Airborder, and Bomberman 64 all scored 80%. Conversely, several games received poor reviews. Clayfighter 63 and a third was lambasted with an 8%, and Cruisin' USA, Aerofighters Assault, and Dual Heroes scored a dismal 20%. Games like Dark Rift, 47%, Doraemon, 30%, and F1 Pole Position, 63%, were deemed mediocre. The reviews cover a range of genres, highlighting both the successes and failures of the N64 library. This 64 Magazine Review Index offers a diverse look at the N64's library. Standouts include Forsaken, 93%, a praised first-person shooter, ISS 64, 93%, lauded as the best football game, Lilac Wars, 88%, showcasing the console's graphics, GoldenEye, 95%, hailed as a top game, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, 85%, a successful RPG, and NBA Courtside, 85%, a top basketball sim. Other notable titles include Mario Kart 64, 78%, and Mischief Makers, 82%. Sports titles like NHL Breakaway 98-85% and NFL Quarterback Club 98-80% also scored well. However, some games struggled, with Hexen 30%, Mortal Kombat Trilogy 32%, and The Glory of St. Andrews 10%, receiving low scores. This review roundup covers a diverse range of N64 games. Standouts include World Cup 98-93%, Super Mario 64 92%, and Quake 88%. Puyo Puyo Sun 64 87%, and World Soccer 3 86% also receive high praise. Top Gear Rally 85%, and BCW vs NWO World Tour 83% impress. Contrarily, Wheel of Fortune 30% is deemed terrible, while Shadows of the Empire 58% and SimCity 2000 60% are criticized. Several games score in the 70s, including Olympic Hockey 98, Wild Choppers, Turok, Dinosaur Hunter and Yoshi's Story, while others like San Francisco Rush, Tetrasphere, and Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey have decent scores. War Gods 40% is heavily criticized as outdated. This page is a proper advert for issue 17 of 64 magazine, shouting about a massive free gift, which is a Banjo-Kazooie guide, a whopping 200 pages no less. Looks like issue 17 will also have first reviews of F-Zero X and Mission Impossible, plus previews of Body Harvest and Turok 2. Issue 17 is slated to be on sale from August 13th. Elsewhere on the page, there's a big advert for Special Reserve Discount Mail Order. Looks like a mail order service for games. They're pushing their annual membership for £6, which gets you a discount book and free gifts. They're also running a mail order madness deal with 10% off. They're selling a load of games for various systems like Nintendo 64, Super NES, Game Boy, PlayStation, and even PC. For the N64, they've got the console itself, games like All-Star Baseball, Banjo-Kazooie, Blastcore, Buck Bumble, and many more. Accessories are on offer too, like controllers and memory cards. They're also pushing the Game Boy Pocket camera and printer. Looks like they're giving away £4,000 worth of prizes and offering 0% payment plans. They've got a few shop locations listed: Sawbridgeworth, Chelmsford, Nottingham, Upminster, Egham and Bristol, and a website where you can get 10% off. This page is an advert for the latest Nintendo Know-How, Volume 4, subtitled Ultimate Cheats. Looks like this one's all about cheat codes for over 50 N64 games. They're really pushing Banjo-Kazooie, calling it brilliant, plain and simple, and showing off some gameplay snaps. Other titles getting the cheat treatment include GoldenEye, Diddy Kong Racing, 1080 Snowboarding, and Quake. Mario's front and center on the cover, alongside the N64 console and a few controllers, and it mentions a free gift with issue 16 of 64 magazine. Looks like a handy guide for anyone wanting to unlock all the secrets in their favorite N64 games. This page is the advert itself for the Ultimate Cheats Guide, Volume 4 of the Nintendo Know-How series. They've gone all in on the cheat theme, with the line, "Nice guys finish last, but dirty cheats always win." Looks like it's been put together by Andy McDermott, Roy Kimber, Louise Wells, and Nick Trent, and published by Paragon Publishing. Printed by McKay's of Chatham apparently. You can see down the side, it's clearly marked as part of the Nintendo Know-How series, Volume 4, and issue number 03. This is the cheat guide that's promising all the secrets for N64 games like Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye, just like they were saying on the last page. Nintendo Know-How Volume 4 is a cheat guide spanning 2 pages. Page 04 lists titles like 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, Banjo-Kazooie and others, showcasing screenshots for select games. The first page covers a broad range of games, including Aero Fighters Assault, Baku Bomberman, Chameleon Twist, and GoldenEye, continuing through John Madden 64 and Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside. Page 05 picks up with Kobe Bryant, moving on to titles such as Killer Instinct Gold and Mortal Kombat Trilogy, including screenshots. It then lists games such as NFL Quarterback Club 98, Quake 64, and Yoshi's Story, concluding with titles like WCW vs NWO World Tour and World Cup 98, offering a comprehensive guide to a vast selection of Nintendo 64 games. This page of the magazine continues the Ultimate Cheat section and starts off with some handy tips for 1080 degrees snowboarding. There's the transparent border cheat to make your rider see-through, the gold border for a golden character, a panda cheat, deadly fall and dragon cave cheats, all seemingly unlocked by completing certain game modes and then performing button combos on the statistics screen. The screenshots look like they are from 1080 degrees snowboarding, showing some wipeouts and snowy landscapes. Typical snowboarding action really. Moving on to the next game, we've got Aero Fighters Assault. The cheats here are to access F-15 and Mau Mau planes by inputting a button sequence when the press start message appears. Then there's Play as Spanky, which is unlocked by completing the bonus missions. Also a Play as Bad Guys in Deathmatch cheat, unlocking enemy planes after each level completed in normal game, up to 6. Lastly, Change Colors lets you give your plane a new look by pressing R on the aircraft select screen, but you need to hold R in deathmatch mode to select from 4 default aircraft. The next page in this magazine continues the Ultimate Cheat section, kicking off with Aero Gauge. There are cheats for Turbo Start, hold A and B at the start, then release B after the announcer says, "Ready." Then there's a turbo cheat to get extra speed during a race by holding a while turning and releasing buttons. Secret Cars and Tracks is unlocked on Controller 2 by pressing up on the D-PAD, then R, L, Z and C down simultaneously at the start screen. Bonky. Moving on to Automobili Lamborghini, we've got Mirror Tracks, which you get by finishing Championship mode on both Novice and Expert. Hidden cars are unlocked by completing Championship or Arcade modes on different difficulties. The Bugatti EB110 and Ferrari F50 are unlocked by Championship mode on Novice and Expert respectively. The Ferrari Testarossa and Porsche 959 are unlocked by Basic Arcade mode on Novice and Expert. Finally, the Vector and Dodge Viper are unlocked by Pro Arcade mode on Novice and Expert. Lastly, there's Baku Bomberman with secret levels. Apparently if you've got a special Hudson controller, you can get 4 secret battle levels. You set the pad's slow switch to H on the title screen and wait for a sound to confirm it's worked. There's a screenshot showing gameplay with 2 Bomberman characters battling it out. This page of the magazine continues the Ultimate Cheat section, now turning its attention to Banjo-Kazooie and Biofreaks. For Banjo-Kazooie, there's a couple of codes to get you started. 100 red feathers doubles Kazooie's flying time, and 200 eggs doubles your ammo. Both are activated by going to the word Puzzle Room in Treasure Trove Cove, inside the sandcastle, and spelling out red feathers or blue eggs respectively. There's a screenshot of the word Puzzle Game in action. Moving on to Biofreaks, we've got a set of one-hit fatalities for different characters. For Minitech, it's towards, away, C left and C down. Zipperhead is towards, away and C right. This one's a bit of a two-parter where you take off arms first, then the head. Sapo's fatality is towards, away and C up and C right. Cyclown is towards, away, C left and C down. Sabotage is towards, away and C up, another two-parter like Zipperhead with arm removal before the head. Bullseye's fatality is towards, away and C up. Delta's is towards, away and C down. Purge is away, towards, C up and C right. There's also a taunt move by holding C left and C right, and a first-person perspective during a fight by holding away and pressing start, then down and start to switch back. A screenshot shows some BioFreaks characters battling it out in the arena. This page details cheat codes for several N64 games. In Blast Corps, holding Z while driving into a blocked door will destroy it. Bomberman 64 unlocks new battle levels by repeatedly pressing start on the game selection screen until a chime sounds. Chameleon Twist allows players to fight bosses by collecting 20 crowns in each level. A question mark box on the level select screen then appears. Infinite health can be achieved by saving and reloading. Clay Fighter 63 1/3 has a cheat mode activated by holding L and pressing up, right, left, down, B, A. This allows access to unplayable characters. Dr. Kiln, L plus B left, up, right, down, A. Sumo Santa, L plus A, down, right, up, left, B. And Boogerman, L plus C up, C right, C left, C down, B, A. Holding L and R selects a random fighter. This page details cheat codes for a couple of games, Cruisin' USA and Dark Rift. For Cruisin' USA, it shows you how to unlock hidden cars, police car, jeep and school bus, by holding buttons on the car select screen. There's also stuff about a decapitated head, flashing lights for the police car and school bus, a speed boost during races, and how to access new levels by holding button combinations on the course select screen for places like Golden Gate Park, Indiana, and San Francisco. Then it moves on to Dark Rift, which is a bit of a bruiser of a fighting game. Here you've got codes to play as the bosses, Sonork and Dimitron, and then a load of codes to view all the character endings without having to slog through the entire game. They've listed codes for characters like Aaron, Demonica, Dimitron a game, Eve, Gore, Morphix, Nikki, Scarlet, Sonork a game, and Zenmuron. So, if you were struggling with the game, or just wanted to see everything without the hassle, these codes would have been quite handy back in the day. Diddy Kong Racing on the N64 offers numerous cheat codes for fun effects. These codes, entered on the cheat screen, range from cooperative play, joint venture, and character selection options, double vision, to power-up and track modifications. You can get extra bananas, free fruit, remove zip strips, zap the zippers, and alter a difficulty, time to lose. Codes also change balloon types, character sizes, and add features like four-wheel drive, off-road, and a music menu, jukebox. To unlock hidden characters, you must complete specific tasks. Play as Drumstick by collecting amulets and gold trophies, then running over a specific character. To unlock hidden character, beat his ghost in time trials on all tracks. Finally, a quick tip for a turbo start involves timing the accelerator press as the race begins. This page is all about giving you the edge in Doom 64, proper old-school cheat codes from the magazine. It's got two sections, level codes be gentle and bring it on. Looks like they're level select codes for Doom 64 on the N64. Probably for different difficulty settings judging by the names. So if you were stuck, or just wanted to jump to a specific level, this is your ticket. Good old days of cheat codes printed right in the mags. This page continues with the Doom 64 cheat codes, still keeping it proper old school. Here we have even more level codes, split into two sections called I Own Doom and Watch Me Die. Looks like I Own Doom is the slightly easier codes and Watch Me Die is for when you fancy a proper challenge on the harder levels. And at the bottom they've even got the ultimate cheat code, which gives you everything, all levels unlocked, all weapons, full health, and makes you invincible. Just like the good old days. No messing about. Just straight to the action. The next page moves on from Doom and onto some Duke Nukem 64 cheats, split into the PAL and US versions. For the PAL version there's the cheat menu enable code, and then codes for all items, invincibility, no monsters and level select, all requiring enabling the cheat menu first. The US version has similar cheats, but slightly different codes and descriptions, including a no enemies cheat instead of no monsters, and a simpler invincibility code, just requiring pressing R 7 times. Finally, there are a couple of extreme G cheats, Fergus mode, which replaces drones with the boss Fergus McGovern, and quit while you're ahead, which lets you quit a race early and still get points based on your position. This page is packed with cheat codes for a couple of cracking N64 titles. First up is F1 pole position, and there's a handy tip for infinite fuel, basically setting your initial fuel to just 10% in the settings menu. Apparently it also gives you a bit more poke in the acceleration, which is a nice bonus. Then there's a secret car to unlock, which involves becoming world champion and pressing A and B during the loading screen. After saving, always good to have a hidden vehicle to hoon around in. Gemma. Then it's on to FIFA. Road to World Cup 98. There's a whole load of player edit screen sheets here. You can edit player colors, get a noisy crowd who will hurl abuse at the opposition, and different scoring animations. There are also codes for ghost players, invisible players, small players, big heads, and even a black and white mode if you fancy a bit of retro telly style. Finally, there's a no stadium cheat to speed things up a bit. Looks like plenty to mess about with in FIFA. This page carries on the cheat code theme from the last one, this time focusing on a couple of proper crackers on the N64. First up, it's Fighter's Destiny. There are a few character unlocks detailed here. You can get borrowed by just completing versus mode on easy. Sounds simple enough. The Joker requires a bit more effort. You need to beat 100 opponents in survival mode using Pierre. To get the Master, you have to tackle Master Challenge mode and defeat all those tough opponents. Robert. The robot is unlocked by beating 4 opponents in versus mode in under a minute. And finally, USHI the Cow, the Mad Cow, is unlocked by remaining undefeated for a minute in rodeo mode with Abdul. Seems like some fun hidden fighters to get your hands on. Hoji. Then we move on to GoldenEye 007. And this is packed with cheats. Apparently if you complete certain levels on Agent, Secret Agent or 0 Agent difficulty within specific times, you unlock cheats in the inbuilt menu. These range from weapon unlocks like rocket launchers and grenade launchers, to gameplay modifiers like invincibility, slow animation and even a Donkey Kong mode, which sounds a bit mad. There's also mention of unlocking secret levels and characters by completing the game on Agent difficulty in deathmatch mode, including some of the classic Bond villains like Jaws and Baron Samedi. Plenty to keep you busy experimenting with in GoldenEye. This text details various cheat codes and secrets for the GoldenEye 007 game. Completing the game on specific difficulties unlocks hidden levels and the 007 mode. Beating the final mission on different difficulties unlocks new weapons like the Cougar Magnum, Moonraker Laser, and Golden Gun. In multiplayer, codes can unlock additional characters like Mishkin, Moonraker Elite, Programmers, and others. A flag tag strategy involves self-destruction to secure a win. A hover mode cheat can be activated by completing a level under a time limit, and then exploiting a glitch to float in the game world. Hidden weapons, such as the RCP-90 and assault rifles, are found by destroying specific objects in certain levels. Finally, a 2-controller trick allows players to shoot enemies during cutscenes. This page moves on from GoldenEye and delves into more cheat codes for a selection of other N64 games. First up is Hexen, Egos, detailing how to unlock a cheat menu, and then listing a bunch of codes for things like God Mode, clipping to walk through walls, visit for level select, and then more specific cheats for health, keys, artifacts, weapons, and puzzle items. Next we have International Superstar Soccer 64, with codes for hidden teams and big head players. J-League Perfect Striker follows, with similar cheats for hidden teams and big heads. Finally, a rather pointless cheat for Jeopardy, giving you more money, which sort of defeats the object of the quiz show, doesn't it? This page presents more cheat codes for your Nintendo 64. For John Madden 64, they've got you sorted for viewing the ending, accessing a team called Tiburon, unlocking the EA Stadium, and some extra historical teams from the 60s, 70s and 80s, and even an all-time Madden team. Moving on to Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside, you can unlock hidden teams, view instant replays, and even change the replay angle. OPA. Lastly, for Killer Instinct Gold, there are cheats to open all options, get all character colors, play as Gargos, view the final credits, and even play on a sky level if you fancy a bit of vertical combat. This page in 64 magazine unveils a treasure trove of cheat codes for Mace, the Dark Age on the N64. Remember that one? Proper dark fantasy fighter it was. First up, if you fancy a bit of a wardrobe change, there's a code to tweak your character costumes. For those training sessions with your mates, they've got a 2-player practice mode, so you can bash each other about without the pressure of death. Then they've got the proper character unlocks. You can fight as Grendel, that massive executioner type, or even Gar Gunderson and Mech or Ichiro if you fancy a bit of a change. And get this, you can even play as Pojo the Chicken. Madness. There's also a cheat to select your starting stage, which is handy. Gunyuwam. Moving on to bonus stages, they've listed a load of character combinations to unlock Mini Golf Course, Grendel's Stage, Big Heads Mode, Small Characters, Random AI, Speed Grid, San Francisco Rush, and Machu Picchu stages. Blimey, that's a lot of bonus content. And if you thought that was it for characters, they've got more hidden fighters. You can play as Ned the janitor, and even swap heads on your fighters. Finally, for a bit of silliness, there's a pink slippers cheat. Imagine Ragnar and Dragon in fluffy rabbit slippers. Cracking stuff. This page in 64 magazine is all about Mortal Kombat mythologies. Sub-Zero for the N64. Remember that peculiar one? Bit of a departure from the usual face-punching tournament style. This, more of an adventure game. Anyway, they've got the cheat codes laid out here. Days. For passwords, you've got NXCVZ for unlimited earns, GTTBHR for 1,000 lives, ZCHRRY starts you off with 20,000 experience at the fortress, CRVDTS unlocks the credits, and TDFCLT gives you invincibility. Proper handy, that one. Warrington Norse, then there are level codes. Each level has its own code, like THWMSB for wind, CNSZDG for earth, and so on, right up to XJKNZT for the fortress. If you're struggling to get to Quan Chi or Shinnok, there are cheeky skips. Die before a checkpoint whilst holding A to skip to Quan Chi, or hold B to skip to Shinnok. There's a bit on how to beat Shinnok, saying he's got an impenetrable shield, but you can freeze him and grab his medallion when his shield drops. Tricky stuff. They've also listed some combos, a 3-hitter and a 6-hitter, and then a load of special moves: Ice Blast, Slide, Directional Ice Blasts, Air Ice Blast, Ice Clone, Ice Shatter, Super Slide, Freeze on Contact, and Polar Blast. And of course, the fatality, the Spine Rip. Forward, down, forward, HP Classic. Just in case you forgot, they've repeated the invincibility code at the bottom too. Good stuff for anyone struggling with Sub-Zero's chilly adventure. This 64 magazine article unveils cheat codes for 2 N64 games. In Mortal Kombat Trilogy, players can select random fighters, choose specific arenas like Sonya's stage for an earthquake, and play as Motaro or Shao Kahn with specific button combinations. They also detail how to fight Chameleon. For Multi-Racing Championship, the magazine advises using the King Rotor, with top speed set to 205 km per hour for easier handling. It also reveals shortcuts on the downtown track, including a hidden path near a waterfall and a dirt road through a tunnel, offering advantages for players seeking victory. Screenshots are included to show the game's visuals. This page showcases cheat codes for 2 cracking N64 titles. First up, we've got Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, a truly unique and quirky adventure. Apparently, if you collect all the silver fortune dolls throughout the game, your life gauge will be maxed out, and after the end credits roll, you'll unlock a new option in the menu. This allows you to take on all 4 impact robots one after the other, a proper challenge for seasoned players. On the right, we've got Nagano Olympic Hockey 98. This section details cheats to spice things up. There's a code for continual fighting mode, activated on the options screen by holding L and pressing a sequence of key buttons and directions. Right, left, right, down, up, down, left, right, left. Sounds like a right old button masher. Then, there's a change player appearance cheat. This one's triggered on the options screen using clef plus R, C down plus R or cut plus R to tweak bits in a 16-bit register. It seems to alter player characteristics based on a 6-bit register value, ranging from squat players and big heads, to stretched players and even messing with the announcer's voice. There's a table showing various register values and their effects, like 10000 for squat players, big heads, and 00000, 1 for stretched players, big announcer's voice. Looks like you could have some right laughs messing about with this one. This guide provides cheats for the N64 basketball games, NBA Hangtime, and NBA in the Zone 98. For NBA Hangtime, you can unlock duplicate players by entering specific names with the pin 0000, allowing you to play with multiple versions of stars like Penny Hardaway, Hakeem Olajuwon, and others. Additionally, the game features codes for the Tonight's Matchup screen, using button combinations to activate effects such as baby players, no music, tournament mode, turbo enhancements, and more. A bonus cheat lets you change Dennis Rodman's hair color by pressing the pass button. For NBA in the Zone 98, a simple trick involves repeatedly pushing the analog stick up during free throws to slow down the shot indicator, making them easier to make. This page showcases the cheat codes for NFL Quarterback Club 98 on the N64. It's a proper treasure trove of game modifiers to really mess about with the game. There's a list of effect and code combinations, covering all sorts of gameplay tweaks, from simple things like 8 downs, to more daft stuff like tiny players and slippery pitch. You've got codes for making players tall and thin, improving defense or receivers, even messing with fumbles and dives. It's all there to give you the upper hand, or just for a bit of a laugh. There's a screenshot from the game itself, showing some on-field action, just to remind you what it all looks like in motion. Good old NFL Quarterback Club 98, a solid American football title on the N64, and this page gives you all the secrets to unlock its hidden potential. The next page is all about cheat codes for a few cracking N64 titles. First up, we've got NHL Breakaway 98, with codes to access a cheat menu. Apparently, if you hammer C left, C right, C left, C right, R at the main menu, you can tweak all sorts of things like player size and ref size, and even get a sound test menu. There's also a player inspection tip for rotating your player on the creation screen using the CR buttons. Then there's a cheeky way to remove the opposing goalie in NHL Breakaway 98 by pausing during play and fiddling with the controller settings. Bonus teams are unlocked with a code at the main menu, and you can create perfect players by naming your guy Jim Hung in the Create Player screen. Which sounds a bit dodgy, but there you go. There's even a code for 100 bonus points on the main season menu, which is always handy. The screenshot shows some in-game NHL Breakaway 98 action from the on-ice cam perspective. Looks like a bit of a ruckus near the goal. Lastly, there are some Puyo Puyo Sun 64 cheats for messing about with characters in 2-player mode, highlighting Dorako, Ali or Sheizo on the character select and holding start for 3 seconds lets you play as Carbuncle, Satan, or just choose who your mate plays as, which they reckon is pointless but fun, each to their own I suppose. This page moves on to some more cheat codes for a couple of cracking games. We've got Quake 64 first up. Apparently if you put in this massive password QQQQQQQQQQQQQQQQ, you get an invalid password message, but it unlocks a debug menu in the options. From there you can get level select, invincibility, all the weapons and targeting, which is always a laugh. Then it's Rampage, World Tour, with a few codes to mess about with. There's a way to get alternate colors for the monsters, just by highlighting George, Ralph or Lizzie on the character select screen, and pressing up on the D-pad, each monster gets a different palette swap. You can also play as Vern, the violent enraged radioactive nemesis, if you eat toxic waste canisters near the Scum Labs buildings in the game. This gives you superpowers like flight and fireballs with the seat down button for the rest of the level. Finally, there's something about hidden cities. To get to them you need to repeatedly punch the sign that switches between pictures of landscapes and then tap a specific button depending on your monster when the screen shows your next destination. Jump for George, punch for Lizzie, and kick for Ralph. Apparently not every level has a hidden city, so you need to experiment and see what you can find. This page continues the cheat codes with a look at Robotron 64. For level select you need to put in down, up, C left, down, C left, C right, down, C right. If you're after 50 lives, it's up, up, down, down, left, right, C left, C right, century. There's also a Game Boy mode, which sounds interesting. The code for that is up, down, right, C left, down, up, left, C right, up, down, boys. Then there's a list of in-game cheats for Robotron 64, like speed up, shield, flamethrower, gas gun, 4-way fire, 3-way fire, and 2-way fire, all with button combinations to activate during gameplay. Down. Moving on, there's a list of passwords for Robotron 64 that let you jump to specific levels from 98 all the way up to 105. And if you want to get straight to the final level, the password is BJTCNGLFCR. Lastly, for Robotron 64, there are passwords for extra lives. These are entered at the password screen to start with 110 lives. For easy difficulty it's BS, BBBBTJBB, normal is BCBBLBTJBB, and insane difficulty is BFBBCBTJBB. Jai. Over on the right of the page, it's San Francisco Rush. Looks like you can race as a taxi if you collect at least half the keys hidden on any track, and you can only pick the taxi on the same track where you unlocked it. Nice one. This page continues the San Francisco Rush cheats with a load more wacky options. You can unlock a Formula 1 car by completing all the circuit races and entering ZZZZ at the track select screen. A horn will let you know it's worked. There's also a racer's mine cheat using a complicated button combo at the car select screen. If you fancy some explosive action, you can turn the traffic cones into mines by entering L, RLLLR on the setup screen. For visual tweaks, there's a code for inverted tracks, again on the setup screen, and you can disable the stuck car help, which is useful for finding those pesky keys. You can mess with the car size and tire sizes with different button presses at the car select screen, and even change the fog color. Gameplay modifiers include toggling gravity and road textures, both activated on the setup screen. Camera height and distance can be adjusted during gameplay by holding L and pressing up or down. You can also toggle collision damage, again with a button combo on the setup screen. A bus icon confirms this one. J-Gate. Finally, for some fun with the leaderboards, there's a cheat to randomize the high scores, and even a crashed car replay feature if you fancy reliving those moments. This text details cheat codes for San Francisco Rush and Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire. In San Francisco Rush, you can activate features like driving a crashed car, resuming races from crashes, unlocking special cars in circuit mode, toggling the race clock, and changing control directions. You can also play a timed tag game. Shadows of the Empire boasts more elaborate cheats. You can play as an AT-AT, a Wampa, or a Stormtrooper by using a specific D-pad and C-button combination. For aspiring pilots, you can become an X-Wing or TIE Fighter by collecting challenge points and holding the right button. Finally, a cheats menu unlocks various options, including invincibility, different weapons, and the ability to play as villains. Note that for the Shadows cheats to work, the difficulty must be set to medium, and the save file needs to be named correctly, with controller settings set to traditional. This page reveals some sneaky tips for snowboard kids on the N64. For a turbo start, you just need to tap A when the ready message pops up. There's a cheat to unlock all characters, boards, and courses, which involves a rather convoluted analog stick and button sequence from the start screen. Analog stick down, analog stick up, DPAD down, DPAD up, C down, C up, LRZ, DPAD left, C right, analog stick up, B, DPAD right, C left. Blimey, that's a mouthful. They also mention unlocking Quicksand Valley, Silver Mountain and Ninjaland courses by getting gold medals in specific courses. And lastly, it mentions unlocking Ninja as a playable character, also by getting gold on Ninjaland. Before all that, there's a general cheat entry method described that involves using the player name Wampa.Stomper with specific spacing and capitalization, and then holding down all the C buttons, Z, L, R and DPAD left during gameplay to activate a cheat menu which you can then navigate with the analog stick. Seems a bit fiddly, but that's how we did things back then, eh? The screenshot shows some in-game action on what looks like one of the courses. This page provides cheat codes for N64 games Tetrasphere and Top Gear Rally. In Tetrasphere, unlock characters by holding L, C right and C down in the new name option, get Lines game mode by entering Lines, access all levels with a symbol button combo, and play new music with G Alien Head Me Boy. Other Tetrasphere codes include viewing credits early, credits, and a special Vortex cutscene, Vortex plus holding reset. For Top Gear Rally, bonus cars are unlocked by completing seasons. Season 2 unlocks Type CE and Type IP. Season 3 unlocks Type M3 and Type SP, Season 4 unlocks Type NS and Type RS, and Season 5 unlocks Type PS. Complete all seasons for Mirror Mode, with the Milk Truck and Helmet Car. Access the Strip Mine course by winning Season 6. You can also unlock alternative credits with a button sequence. There are codes for accessing all cars. A, left, left, C down, A, right Z, and changing car colors, hold R and all 4 C buttons. This magazine page details cheat codes for several games. Top Gear Rally offers codes for a helmet car, a blocky PlayStation mode, and acid mode. Players can unlock all tracks, including Strip Mine, via a title screen button combo, and access other cars by completing seasons or using specific button combinations. Turok Dinosaur Hunter boasts a plethora of word-based cheat codes, including Dana mode for tiny enemies, pen and ink mode for sketches, and various modes for invincibility, infinite ammo, and altered visuals. The Everything code is needed to view the ending. Finally, War God's cheat menu can be accessed by inputting a specific D-pad and button combination on the title screen, indicated by an in-game voice prompt. This page details cheat codes for several Nintendo 64 games. War Gods features gruesome fatalities, accessed via button combinations, along with codes to play as Exor and Grox. Wave Race 64 offers different colored jet skis through analog stick manipulation. Ride the Dolphin unlocks a squeaky dolphin ride after completing stunts and navigating championship mode. Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey includes codes for unlocking hot new teams and adjusting player sizes in the original. The 98 edition provides a code for old teams and a debug mode allowing players to modify appearances through button combinations and register adjustments. This page is packed with ultimate cheat codes. We've got some register settings that look like they'll mess with player sizes, giving you wide, small, tall or thin players, even messing with head sizes in some game, though it doesn't say which one. For WCW versus NWO World Tour, it mentions you can play as Dallas Page by completing League Challenge up to him. There are also unlockable wrestlers. Glacier, who you get by beating IU in League Challenge mode, Randy Savage for beating NWO, and Wrath by beating WR in single player. It seems beating these wrestlers unlocks them in the game. Plus, there's a whole new mode called Whole World Wrestling which unlocks after completing other modes, and features bosses Black Widow and Joe Bruiser as playable wrestlers. Moving on to World Cup 98, you can change the scoring sounds by tapping A, B, C left or C down after scoring. Finally, for Yoshi's Story, there's a rather dark instant death cheat, where you can off-poor Yoshi by holding Z, A, B and L buttons together, regardless of his health. Bit grim that one. This page seems to continue from the last one, still focused on cheat codes. It looks like there might be some more details or clarifications, perhaps further cheats for the games mentioned before like WCW vs NWO World Tour, World Cup 98, and Yoshi's Story, or maybe even new games are being introduced for cheat codes. It's difficult to make out the specifics of the text from here, but it's clearly the same style and format, carrying on with the game tips and tricks theme.